Right, I think we're ready to rock. Hello, everybody. Welcome to AusCryptoCon, the last of the afternoons. Everyone must be a bit tired, but we're going to energize you here in this room because we're talking about what everyone wants to know, which is careers. So I'm really excited to work with these panelists. Can everyone hear us okay? You got some arrows? Okay, thank you for the thumbs up. All right, my name is Cohen and I'm the moderator for this afternoon's session. I'm also known in Australia as Block Mum. If you haven't met me, do come over and say hello after the session, more than happy. So I'm going to introduce our panellists. We've got Tulley from Elbaite, Ida from Women in Blockchain Alliance, and WeGG as well. We've got Jess from Cointree, and we've got Dan here as well. So Dan's a recruiter. Where are you from again? Sorry, Dan.
The Argyle Network.
Argyle Network. Yes, thank you. We just met. All right, so who's here? Who's actually working in the industry at the moment? One lonely person. Is it good? Do you like it? Do you advise it? Up and down. Oh, we'll talk about that, I think. Who wants to get into the industry? Who's interested in working in the crypto space? Fantastic, a few hands. So we're going to give you some golden nuggets this afternoon on how to get in. So I'm just going to pass over to our panellists just to introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about how they got in the industry. So Tulley, we'll start with you.
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. As Karen said, I'm from Elbaite. We're a cryptocurrency exchange based in Melbourne. I run the growth and marketing team. So if you want to chat about that at all after the panel, feel free to come in and we can have a talk. But I got into crypto almost 5 years ago. I studied blockchain, so we'll talk about that in a bit, I think. And sorry, was there anything more to that, or should I just leave it?
We'll ask more in a minute. Thanks, Tulley.
Yeah.
Ida, how did you get into our wonderful space?
It's a long story, and I'm curtailed by time. But hello, my name is Ida. I wear many hats, but today for this talk, I'm going to sit here and represent WeGG, which is the largest gaming guild, Web3 gaming guild in Southeast Asia. I am the founding member of the company, and I'm also the chief legal officer for them. So I'm going to tell you that in the GameFi section, it is one of the largest recruitment for the entire of the blockchain infrastructure. And I'm happy to just share today where you can go.
So the tip from Ida is to get into gaming. Tulley, get into crypto exchanges. What do you think, Jess?
Everyone's going to have to bear with me today as well. I've had a really busy few days at the stand as well, so hopefully you can hear me okay. So I'm Jess, I'm CEO of Cointree. We are an Australian digital currency exchange. We've been around for nearly 11 years now. Crazy. I feel like I'm one of the real OGs now in crypto. And look, I think our space particularly, there is so much potential. There are so many roles going. I love the show of hands just quickly on who wants to get into the space. I'm recruiting at the moment, by the way, so maybe we can connect later. But I guess just a little story about myself. I got in being the HR manager at Cointree. That's how I got in. So my background's actually recruitment and people and culture. And so, you know, there's careers that you can start in, and then now I'm the CEO. Like, there's incredible opportunities in our space, and it moves really fast.
So if you need a job in crypto, Jess just said she's hiring at Cointree, but you have to move to Melbourne, all right? That's it. No.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, Dan, tell us a bit about the Argyle Network. How did you get into this space?
I'm Daniel, technology recruiter at the Argyle Network. I got into the space. I was always interested in it beforehand, and I had the opportunity to get into tech recruitment, predominantly traditional financial markets and trading, and we saw a bit of an overlap for a lot of people who wanted to get into cryptocurrency trading, a bit of a light bulb moment where I could recruit for people in that industry as well. So yeah, it was really exciting. Decided to build up a bit of a network and help people move into this space.
Amazing, amazing. I'm going to talk to you more about jobs a bit later and what you're seeing in the space. I'm going to start with you, Jess, as the CEO of Cointree. Cointree, not Cointree. Cointree. Oh, that's bad. So what are attributes that you look for when you're hiring talent? Jess and I also came from an HR and recruitment background and moved into crypto. So
Yeah.
You're sort of talking to people who look all the time regularly for talent in this space.
Yeah, Karen and I go way back to the original blockchain days. So, look, for me, if I take it back a level that isn't just crypto-oriented, like anyone I look for in my team, you need to be able to be someone who isn't afraid of a challenge, not afraid of doing things as well that maybe might be slightly outside of maybe your position description. I think a lot of people in crypto can say, and from running an actual exchange, you don't just do what's in your job. But that helps you learn. It actually helps you learn more and actually helps you develop more as well as a person in skill sets. And so for me, someone who isn't afraid of a challenge, who's willing to give anything a go. When it comes to actual skill sets, so when it comes to crypto or blockchain, from like a development lens, it is important for us to at least see someone who's got a passion in crypto or blockchain projects. That is really helpful when you're looking at, development and engineers coming into the company. But that also extends down to even, marketing, support, sales roles as well. Generally having a passion in crypto, don't be afraid to mention that in your applications, because I just went through 200 applications for some support roles the other day, and it was a little disappointing. And, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to sell yourself, because, people in the industry, we want to know if you're passionate and if you actually really, really want to be in crypto or a Web3 project or whatever it is you're looking for. So I think highlight that as well. But my last one is be yourself. It's really important to be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone you're not, because we can see through that. Anyone can see through that. So always don't pretend to be anyone else but yourself is probably a really key thing, because having the right people on board is really, really important.
I think it's really important advice. So be passionate, be yourself, and show that you're interested in the industry. There's a lot of people who have a normie job during the day and trade at night, and then their absolute dream job is to work for one of these exchanges and to start to come up through the ranks. And we still need HR, marketing, accounting, all the normie jobs just in the crypto space. So Tulley, you made the conscious effort to do a blockchain degree at RMIT. Is that something that you think is necessary in this day, or can people get by with a bit of Binance Academy and Udemy? What do you think?
So I think it really just depends on what sort of job you're looking for in the industry. So I did the Masters of Blockchain at RMIT, and unless you're sort of looking at getting into blockchain consulting or some sort of niche blockchain career pathway, it maybe might not be the best decision for you. Say if you're looking to enter into a Web3 project or a cryptocurrency exchange, and you're looking at studying. Maybe you want to do a couple of blockchain, courses, but then complement that with a major of your passion, whether that's marketing or product or software development or something like that. I think ultimately that would be the best way forward. And then also just get immersed in the industry on the side. So go to community events, see how you can get involved, network with people. Those are going to be the things that really help you to find a career in the space. I was the president of the blockchain club at RMIT, and I actually ended up hosting a lot of events with Karen through the Women in Blockchain Academy back when I was studying. And the opportunities that sort of came through that, and the amount of students that I saw who got career opportunities as a result of just coming to those events or being a part of the club was quite astounding. And I think that's not just the case for if you're studying, but wherever you're at in your career. So if you are interested in getting into this space, making sure that you get out there and meet the people who are actually working. And if you go to these industry events, you'll see that people who work in the industry are at them, and the community events as well. And so it's a really good opportunity to be able to get in front of them and hear from someone like Jess or myself or anyone else, and what they're sort of looking for when they're hiring people. And yeah, just get involved, I think, is the main part.
Yeah, I think it's a really good point. So a good way to get involved is go to meetups, come to these events. Is that me? Come to these events, and then meet with projects, volunteer your time. Leadership is really important. So, we'll always look at people who are the leaders of these blockchain clubs, or get involved with activities, because that says that you'll be a leader not just in your club, but in our businesses as well.
I might also just add one other thing, and it's just to Jess's point about showcasing your passion. And I think like if you're passionate about it, like you know, maybe you like writing, maybe you like research, maybe you like making transactions on trade or buying NFTs or something like that. But like being able to showcase that, you know, building up a portfolio or a blog, or like, you know, making a weekly newsletter or a podcast, or just getting involved on chain and then having an on-chain reputation are all like really tangible things that you could bring to an employer to show, like, to highlight your passion and enthusiasm for the space, and instead of just saying, oh yeah, I like Bitcoin, you know, yeah.
Who doesn't like Bitcoin? Thanks, Tulley. So Ida, we're going to work with you a little bit about what's going on in Web3 gaming, and like, do you see there's jobs in the future? What do you see there?
So gaming is very interesting. It covers a myriad of personalities. So GameFi, you got the gaming section, you got a community section, and you got the token economics section. And each of these verticals requires different personalities, different jobs, and different skills. That is why GameFi is one of the largest recruitment drive there. So I'll start with them one by one. So I'll start with the simple one, community, okay? So to work in a community, in GameFi, you have the huge community, and you got mini KOLs, right? So mini KOLs is where you work with, you know, if you have a small WhatsApp group and you're starting to grow it, you know, they will come to you, and that's where they engage you and say that, can you bring your community into the VGG bigger ecosystem? So you're the mini KOL, mini community growth person for VGG. So for the gaming
KOL.
Oh, sorry, key opinion leader, all right? And how we help them is essentially we train up our key opinion leaders. We give them content, okay? We help them on what to publish. And essentially, the whole idea is that we want you to first build your own mini one. It could be your friends. It can be as big as 50 people, but you get paid for that. So that's community. And of course, it goes larger. You need to have people to manage the smaller community, and of course, more people to manage regional communities. And all these are paid. So that's the community part. And now you have the gaming part. How do you choose a game to be featured on the platform? Why this game and why not that game? We have jobs for game testers. Okay, this is called game testers. What are the skills for a game testers? You play the game. That's really it. Okay. Is there a university degree for it? No. You just need to love to play the games, and the metrics is as simple as, I don't like the game. It's boring. 2 seconds, I'm bored, and things like that. And we have a lot of game testers, and they are paid. They are all paid. And they, based on that, they then basically decide and help us to say, this game goes in and that game goes out. So that's the gaming side. And then, of course, you got the token, because every game that is launched has a token economics embedded into it. And that's where you need the lawyers. You need the accountants. You need the token treasury, financial people. The skills that, you know, that exchanges have, we need them too, because they manage the token, they advise on the token, and they manage the risk. And all these three has to work together. So as you can see, there's a lot of jobs there, a lot of skills there, and a lot of these skills, there is no certification for it. How do you get involved? From the community part and also from the gaming part. As you said, you got to showcase your interest. Where do you do it? In real life, joining events like this, engaging with people, talk to people. But most important is that a lot of these things happen on social platforms. You need to get your name outside into the social platforms where all this engagement occurs, like X, like Instagram, and basically comment, engage, talk, join forums, join the Discords, join the Telegram, and become more interactive. Remember, you don't need to have a university degree or something like that. You just need to show that you love that area. So you love community, you love growing community, and you love playing games. You just need to show that. And then you join in real life and introduce yourself, because from our end, we are constantly looking out for that person who's always putting his or her name into social platform and engaging. We're constantly looking out. And if you come in and say, I'm Eagle DAO, I'm the Eagle Dex, and we go like, right. And that's where we start recruiting, yeah.
I love that. You can turn your passion for gaming into a job by commenting on social media. We're living in a new world. Who plays Web3 games in the audience? Anyone? 1, 2 people. All right, 3. Great. You might come and see Ida about a job later. Okay, Dan, tell us a bit about, we've been in a bit of a poor market around blockchain and crypto, besides the exchanges, I think. What are you seeing and what are you excited about seeing in the future with this new bull market?
Yeah, it's looking really positive. I joined Crypto.com the week Luna crashed, so I know all about timing the market. It was quite difficult, but I think looking forward, yeah, it looks really positive in terms of jobs. To add on to Jess's point as well around people who are passionate about the space, I 100% agree. A lot of companies right now are happy to look at people who don't necessarily have commercial experience within the space, but you want to be in the space, you're passionate, you know, you want to show up to work, you want to wear multiple different hats. That's super important to these organizations. In terms of opportunities as well for organizations, there are a lot of people who are working within the region who want to come to Australia as well and find work. People in Hong Kong, America, Singapore, Europe. So it's great opportunities for businesses as well. I think as crypto moves more into the mainstream, it's becoming a lot easier in terms of finding jobs, and it's really well networked and really community driven. So the fact that you're all here, shaking hands, meeting people, it's fantastic as well. There are more meetups across Australia as well. Go to those, be a part of community events. Those are really important within this space. And just take the time to upskill as much as you can. No one is an out-and-out expert within this space. You know, you don't need to know everything, that's fine. But yeah, just upskilling, show up for work, be passionate, that's really important.
And what jobs are you actually seeing, or what have you seen sort of come and go?
Security's been a focus as well, like blockchain security, penetration testers, on more the development side, people with multi-chain experience as well. We predominantly work within tech recruitment, so it is quite tech focused. And as well as that, for like exchanges as well, a lot here, people who want to make that switch to from traditional finance as well, that's really important. More and more you speak to people who want to leave that space and do something new, have a sense of ownership within these roles. It's a bit fresh. So yeah, a lot of those opportunities are on the market.
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of like probably customer service in exchanges, compliance. Are we still seeing Solidity devs as something that people want, or not so much anymore?
Solidity is still in high demand, yeah, for sure, definitely. I think in terms of engineering as a whole, I think a lot of these companies want to expand out. They're looking for great talent on the market. So yeah, it's an opportunistic time to hire, and also as well just to get your name out there.
And if you want to become a dev in this space, there's so many opportunities. There's hackathons, there's, you know, earn to learn type opportunities. So there's so much opportunities. You can just get your hands dirty and just start to program. And you know, maybe a few years ago I would have said the best job would be to go and learn to be a dev, but now with AI I'm not so sure I'd give that advice, but I think it's still a really important skill to have. I'm going to hand over to the audience very soon, but what I'd like to do is ask each of our panelists one more question, and then we'll see what burning questions you have. You've got a panelist of experts, so please take a time to ask questions while you can, otherwise we'll be hanging out here as well. So what advice would you give to someone who really wants to get into the market? I'll start with you, Tulley.
Sure. So I think I would just go back to what I was sort of saying before, and it's just get involved in any way you can. And I think like try and create your own opportunities. So by getting active in the community, whether that's in person or online, and you know, getting involved in Discords, like Ida was saying before, like so many communities are like the owners of the communities are looking at these forums and looking at who's engaging, and they actually take note of that And so I used to work for a Web3 company, and we would have so many people asking, oh, can we be a moderator? Can we have a role? Like, asking all of these questions, but they hadn't spent the time in the community. But the people that we had noticed who had, those were the people that were first in line when we were looking to hire for someone. And spending that time first to get involved really shows your passion and that you're like aligned with the community, with the project. So I'd say that that's like a really important part, is just showing up and making sure, and really just conveying your passion. And also just trying to network. I know I already said that, but making sure that you network and posting on social media and giving your opinion on key events that are happening in the space, and just staying relevant and up to date. I think that's really important. I think Sam in the audience here is someone who I've met through RMIT blockchain, and he's a poster boy for networking. He's really built his brand, and it's done wonders for him. So yeah, I think I'll leave it there.
We love Sam. Ida.
So I'll share something with you. We've been operating for about 2-3 years now. We have about 50 people in our company, strewn over in a couple of countries in Southeast Asia. Never once we have recruited using a recruitment agency, HR. Every single one of them that is in our team are recruited from our community. And why is this very important from a Web3 basis? Because of commitment, because of belief, because of a sense of belonging. What we learn is that if we recruit from a community who has shown themselves to always be part of the community, when you actually bring them into the team where they actually do the work, it's not work for them. They love doing it. They've been doing it for free. They've been doing it. And now you just give them money. So you just give them a title, give them a job scope, and then you give them money. So those are considered bonuses for them. You take that away, they will still do it. Okay? Mm-hmm. So in that sense, that is why get yourself plugged into a project or something that you believe in and you like. Plug it in. It's free. Plugging in is free. Go to the Discord. Join them. Join the Twitter. Join the Instagram. And just comment and make your voice to be heard. People notices you. We're constantly on the lookout.
I love that. Be heard. What did you got to say, Jess?
I'm trying to think of something else that hasn't been said, but I think in conjunction to what Ada also said and mentioned as well, I think when you are trying to approach people, like so many people look at me and they go, oh, you're the CEO of Cointree. Well, I am just like everyone else. I love having a chat. If anyone's come past our booth today or yesterday, I'm sure you found that I am there with my team. I love having a chat. Don't be afraid to reach out to these people. Like, we are humans. Like Ida mentioned, we're all looking for talent. And the best way that we get it is actually through a lot of word of mouth, besides using, talented recruitment firms. I use them for particularly more specialist roles in what I look for. But I guess with a recruitment background myself, I do a lot of it internally. But like the last few people who have reached out to me have actually been all through word of mouth. Some of them even like from Karen and other people that I know. And I've literally hit up a chat group and gone, hey guys, I'm looking for a head of operations. I'm looking for a customer support and compliance person. Do you know anyone? And it's actually come through people taking the step to reach out and go, hey, Jess, I heard you're looking for this. Let's have a chat. I'm not going to just turn around and go, no. It is so much better having conversations with people than having to scroll through, like I said before, those resumes. Again, that's still a way of getting talent. So don't be afraid to speak up and connect with people. Everyone's got LinkedIn. Find them, message them. So I think along with trying to be present, in Melbourne, there's a lot of really cool communities as well. I'm assuming I'm speaking to a lot of Sydney-siders. I know there's some crypto groups here though as well. But in Melbourne, there's some really cool co-working spaces that you can go to, free events and things like that, where you can actually build relationships. But yeah, build the relationships at events like this. You're actually dealing with a lot of the head people. I don't know if you've known that, but I know them, right? I know all the exchanges who are here, and you've got a lot of the CEOs, a lot of the head staff are actually here. So, make the connection, put yourself out there, and like I said before, just don't be afraid to give it a try, because kind of like me, I stepped into something I had no idea about to tell you the truth. I thought a Bitcoin was a coin that was mined in the mints of Perth, okay? So you can all laugh, because I honestly thought that 7.5 years ago when I sat in front of the founder of Cointree going, oh, what? But hey, look now, right? And it's hard work, it's dedication, and it's what you put in is what you get.
Amazing, thank you. So Dan, what's your tips before we open up to the audience for questions? You better all start thinking about what you want to ask these amazing people. Go.
It's really hard going last and thinking of something different. Really good points by everyone here, and I think that the fact that you're all here is amazing, and you're meeting the different types of companies, you're shaking hands, you're getting your name out there. I mean, there was someone today brought their CV in and were handing their CV out, and I think that's incredible. Like, doing things like that is so important. Like, you're showing that you want to be in this space, you're passionate. That goes a long way for these organizations. Like, it's amazing. I think that's the best thing. Leverage the community groups and who you know. We're constantly speaking to people who are referrals as well in our network. You speak to an engineer and say, oh, can you speak to this other person as well? They're great. So having those conversations from our side, it's such a well-networked community. So I think get out there, go to these meetups, have these conversations. It's so important. I mean, you're doing the first step. You're here, you're at these, going to these conventions and meeting these companies. You may as well keep doing it, have these conversations, and just, really use that passion.
Anyone here looking for a job at the moment? A few. Go and see Dan over there. I think for me, as experienced as I am, this is a bit of a dry year for work in crypto, but I'm expecting that the phone will start ringing about now that we've got a Bitcoin pump. So, I just think sometimes we have to ride the waves in this industry, and I'm very lucky that I have a, back-up plan, so I can take a normie job in HR. So I would definitely encourage everyone to sort of have multiple gigs, side gigs and real gigs and day gigs and, crypto gigs until you can make it in this space full time. And even for those of us who've been around for a long time, that's not always easy. So give yourself a bit of a break if it's not so easy and keep trying. All right, at the back there we've got a mic. Is there anyone got any questions for our wonderful panel? At the front. Thank you for being brave.
Hello, hi, my name's Elizabeth. Thank you very much for your puzzle wisdom. As employers, when you're looking for, obviously the crypto blockchain industry is relatively new. So when you're looking to recruit for your businesses, which adjacent industries are you looking to when hiring?
Who wants to take that? Dan, do you want to start with that one?
Finance is definitely the one that stands out, and a lot of transferable skills for people who work in finance. For other roles as well, I think, like people who work in the legal industry as well, like a lot of these people come from like banks or prop trading, for instance. So that's definitely a space that we look at. Another one is just your big tech companies as well. The big Atlassians, Canvas of the world, they're definitely companies just due to the cultural fit as well.
I think that's really good. Banking, legal, but also sometimes we look at people who have gone and done another degree or gone and so they might not be at all in crypto, but they're showing that they want to get there by doing something similar. Any other thoughts, Ida, from sorry, Jess, you go.
For us, is there is a skill part, okay? And that's where the industry that you're talking about, the adjacent industry. So it could be legal, it could be finance. In game, if it falls under the treasury part, then yes, it's the legal, it's the finance, it's the accounting side. If it's the game, it's the tech, it's, game, play games, all right? And the community, it's not HR, it's basically your skill in building a community. Do you have a community, all right? But the first thing that we normally look for before we actually go into all this, do you have these skills, is really the learning attitude. Are you the type of person who is always learning? So if you have that kind of thinking, and you have that kind of composure, because this space, you're always learning. You're always learning, and we need that. And out from that, you will have the humility, you will have the teachability, and you have the personality of willing to admit you're wrong and try again. So that is more important, and then we'll go into the industry.
Great advice. Jess, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, all good. I was just going to say something similar to Ida, that depending on the role can be a very parallel industry, right? Like it could just be a legal or a finance role, so then we typically could look in something in a more traditional sector. For me, I also notice like people from like trading backgrounds, as in like traditional trading, like stocks and whatnot as well, I find can often correlate well as well over to crypto too, because there's a genuine interest on understanding trading, market making and things like that as well. And then like, yeah, fintech for me is another big one as well, because if someone's really familiar with a financial tech service, it can quite easily adapt into crypto. But to be fair, at the same time, most of my staff haven't had the background, but they've just been gems that have been great, and like they've learned it on the job. So yeah.
Fantastic. Oh, you want to say something, Tulley?
I just wanted to say that, like, the Web3 space is so vast, and like there are so many different verticals for projects. So like, there's agriculture Web3 projects that focus on carbon credit emissions. There's decentralized physical infrastructure networks that look at cloud infrastructure in a decentralized way. There's DeFi projects, there's gaming projects, there's so many different verticals. So like, if you're looking for, what would be the adjacent? Well, obviously if you're already doing that in, the non-decentralized equivalent, then that would be a good adjacent industry. So, if it's crypto, then it's finance or fintech. If it's deep in, then maybe it's cloud infrastructure. But also, if you're looking for like a community role, then having your own community, whether it's through a Discord or an event that you run or a blog that you have thousands of people who read your newsletter, just like showcasing that you've already had experience, I guess would be a good way to do that. But that would be my 2 cents. Yeah.
I think the point is that we don't expect you to have worked in crypto before. That's okay if you haven't. If you have a passion for it, we want to see it. Another question from the audience. Thank you for that lovely question. A lovely gentleman here, the black, yeah.
Hi guys, thank you for all the information that you are sharing with us. I just got a question that I'm a trader from last 2 years. I do some, trading in crypto.
Sorry, a little bit closer.
Oh, sorry. So I'm a trader from last 2 years in crypto. I've got a stable job. Crypto is part-time for me. I want to change my career. But on the other hand, I'm sort of scared of, okay, how much money you're going to get sort of when you are changing your career, or you might get a big, hit in your income. And there's chances you're not going to succeed as a trader as well if you're working for exchange or whatever. What would be your suggestion to tackle something like that?
I think it's a very real question, because I've been in and out over 8 years in the industry, and I've always had a backup plan, which is good. But I think if you're making money as a trader and you can still have a normie job, that's great. But there are some jobs, like in exchanges and places like that, that everybody trades at the same time as working. So I don't know, what do you think about that, Tulley? Do people work in the industry and trade as well?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, like I work in the industry and also trade on the side. Why not? Like, I'm looking at the charts all day anyway, so why not? And I think if you're passionate about it and you want to invest in these projects, of course. I'm really sorry though, I couldn't quite hear you down there. So, yeah.
The question was, if you're trading during the day and you want to join the industry, would you would you be too scared to join the industry and leave your day job to join the industry?
Oh, well, I mean, there's risks with moving into a different industry, whatever industry it's going to be, right? Whether it's Web3 or anywhere else. I was speaking to someone last week who has kept their job in engineering and just has their crypto education company on the side where they just do that, you know, from 5 to 9 and they have their 9 to 5 sort of thing. So it really just depends whether you're ready to take that risk and take that leap. I mean, there's ways to mitigate it, you know, by just sort of slowly getting involved and waiting until the right position comes along and making sure that, you know, you have a backup plan or, you know, some sort of way to support yourself if it doesn't work out. But I mean, I think it's going to be the same wherever you're sort of going, whether it's crypto or a different industry. So I think it just really depends on whether you're ready and whether you've done the prep to get yourself there. Yeah.
I'm just going to say that my last full-time job was in insurance, which is probably the most boring job. Sorry for insurance people. And I still got made redundant. So I didn't feel any more secure in a normie job than I do in crypto. What do you think, Dan? What's the security like in the industry?
Making the steps scary. It's something definitely to think about. I took the jump into crypto.com and it pretty bad in terms of like the market. I think, yeah, the week I started was the week Luna crashed, so it just wasn't great. But to add on to your point, like have a backup plan just in case. There are other verticals other than just trading and exchanges as well. I'm not sure, but in traditional finance, for instance, a lot of those companies don't allow you to trade on the side. So, but there are other companies where you can work within the space for sure. Yeah, as I said, like agriculture, carbon credits, gaming. You can be in the space, just get your foot in the door, possibly look at contracting, you know, find some little projects on the side where you can add your skill set to a company for a short period of time. I think that's probably the way to go about it. If you're scared about leaving something that's safe, is just do little steps at first, or possibly have a backup plan there as well for you.
What do you think, Jess? Do you think that people can still trade and work?
Yeah, I think you can. I think though, like, it is like any job, but crypto is more volatile. I come from running an exchange for 7 years myself, right? And it's been like this, right? So staffing is a really big thing, and people do ask that question when I'm interviewing them as well, like just about job stability. Like, okay, you're hiring me, but how do I know that it's not going to be like the last market crash when, you know, and unfortunately we had to let people go in 21, and that was really sad. And like for us, we've learned now to work through what we need and who we need. So a lot of the exchanges, I'm talking on an exchange level, have gone through a lot of that. So to add more security to staff and people coming on board. But again, there's other ways, contracting. We've got interns as well who are happy to give work a try for like 3 months. And you get to try it, they get to try it. And, you know, you still get compensated in some way. And, you know, it still gives you a bit of a balance, and you can do that part-time whilst you're doing other things. So there are options. All companies are different though, right? Like every employer, where they can give you, you know, different options to dip your toe in before you maybe take that big step. Again, it depends what the role is so specifically too, right? But I think there are opportunities to do both if it's, I guess, the business is open to it as well.
Thanks, Jess. So we've got room for one more quick question. The guy, which way? Middle? Yep. If you didn't get to ask your question, we'll be hanging around the back. Come and see us. Happy to answer.
Hey guys, my name's Eddie. I'm a Web2 dev, and I've been looking to transition into Web3 for a while, just sort of thinking about it, but I've never taken the steps to do so. I'm part of a few communities on Discord and stuff, kind of like you guys said, but I still find it a bit difficult to sort of connect and get my name out there. I just wanted to ask, is there any sort of platforms or more broader approach to sort of get your name out there to these companies, or a more crypto-focused company? And what are your sort of advices on my personal situation?
Yeah. I'm not a dev myself, so obviously my advice is going to be pretty broad, but as someone who's worked in the Web3 space for a while, like some, sort of advice that I would have is that there are grants programs out there where you can sort of go and work for a Web3 project for a short term, and you sort of, they will have a job or a task that they require, and they'll have like a small amount of money, and it'll be a short-term project, almost like contracting for them, and you can sort of put together a pitch and say like, oh, I could do this, and here's how I do it, and here's how much money I'd need, And you could do it by yourself, or you could get together with some of your friends, or jump in the Discord and say, hey, does anyone want to tackle with this with me? Like, I'm really keen to do it. And then you've got that first in with them. If, you know, once you get that first, then when they're looking for more, you can start to do more work with them. And I've actually spoken with devs in the industry who have done this, and who, when they're hiring, that's how they've hired, is from people who have contributed in sort of like a contracting way. Some other sort of advice is just, I would just say networking with other devs, like on Twitter, like so, or even look at your own side project or something like that, and start like sharing it with other people. So if there's something that you realize in the industry, you think, oh, I think that this could be improved. You know, I would like really like to see this change. It could be a small thing or it could be a big thing, but either way, and then starting to, you know, share that with other people who are also doing the same thing. Would be a good way to connect. And then if they're working for a company, they might be able to help you get your foot in the door, or if they're well networked, they might be able to point you in the right direction. I've noticed that, like, I was at a Solana meetup 2 weeks ago, and they had a number of devs there from different Solana-based projects, and one of the guys there had come up with some novel proof of attention, you know, protocol that sort of was a way to identify whether people were actually engaged on the protocol, and it was a good way to distinguish whether they were a bot or a human. And so that's like, you know, some sort of way that you know, you could build something like that, and then start to showcase it within the community, and then start to get a little bit of traction, and, you know, sort of go from there if you're trying to get your foot in the door, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think Ida and I, we've run heaps of hackathons before. You can earn money as you go into the hacks. And then if some of the projects want to take you on, they'll either, you might do some voluntary work for a while, but your second one will always be paid. So, you know, you have to be prepared sometimes to do a bit of free work. And we were always looking for Web2 developers who wanted to come into Web3. That was our kind of passion point, because you guys already know how to program. It's just changing the way that you do it. Any other thoughts on that, Ida?
Most of the time when we recruit devs, it's through community. Okay, so take gaming for example. We are, even now, I'm still looking for developers. So feel free to talk to me after this. But first and foremost, you must play games. You're a developer, but you must play games because we need people who understand the industry, understand the psyche of a gamer. Okay. Who then know how to construct and architect the technicalities behind it around this, which is different from finance, which is different from exchange. So that's why it's very important. So if you fall within that, come and chat with me, because we've been looking for the last 2 years.
One other thing that I would add and mention is that I don't know where you're looking for jobs at the moment, but there's like a number of Web3 jobs boards, like Web3 careers or Web3 jobs or crypto jobs list. You know, there's a number of different websites and jobs platforms where you can find these jobs. Another way is actually just Twitter. I know that a lot of Web3 projects actually advertise their jobs on Twitter. So if you're following them, you can see what jobs they've listed. And so it's a really good way. And if you're already engaging with them and stuff, you can just shoot them a DM and just be like, hey, I'm really keen on this. So that's one way to also just make sure that you're looking in the right places, yeah.
Sorry, I'm just going to add one thing for everyone here. In the Web3 space and in crypto space, okay, generally your employer is open for you to have a lot of side hustles. So this is not the only project that you're working on, okay? Your whole mentality has to change from being an employee looking for a job to more of a contractor offering your service. Start with that, okay? So, and then you won't have all this that, is there a job security kind of issue, you know, that kind of questions. You're free to basically build your portfolio. You're free to basically enhance your skills. You are a contractor offering your service for the myriad of projects that is out there. So change your mindset.
Love it. Thank you so much to our panelists, Dan, Jess, Ida, Tulley. We'll be at the back of the room if you want to come and ask us some questions. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the rest of AusCryptoCon, guys.